Right, so now you know that here's Israel. Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. Let me show you that first. Because, can you want things from God and sis? Right, so here it is now.
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. And now Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of thee?
So God, now you know Israel says, you get the remembrance, hey, wait, we're the righteous people, we're the only people that God actually set above all races. You understand? Now God was something from you. What do you think God was from your sis? Which is how? That's what you're going to learn here now, sis. Finish it off, read.
But to fear the Lord thy God.
What?
But to fear the Lord thy God.
So God wanted to fear him, read on.
To walk in all his ways.
Walk in his ways.
And to love him. And to serve the Lord thy God.
So God just outlined 4 things he wanted: to fear him, to walk in his ways, to love him, to serve him. How you do all them things? You have any idea? By the way you live your life, by what?
By all the way, and to love him and to serve him, the Lord thy God, with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord.
So then 4 things God summarizes by doing one thing. And the way you live your life is to do what? The application of the commandments of God. What's the first commandment God give us? What's the first commandment, little sister? Exodus 20. And verse 2. What's the first commandment? You don't know? Alright, well, you will learn that today. First commandment. Lady, and when you understand the commandment, don't feel bad, sis. We come out of the edifiable street, sorry.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2.
Listen this back here.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Verse 3.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
So God said the first thing you have to do is what?
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
So, let me ask you a question. Sis, what you used to worship before? What church or religious denomination you used to attend to? Catholic, right? In the Catholic church, what they used to teach? What they used to teach? This image, right? This image in the Bible? This is the God that is supposed to be serving? No, alright, they never teach this alone. You know what they teach? What is this? This is who? Mary. Right? They Mary. So why are they teaching this? This has nothing to do with God. That's what the Bible says. Read it again.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
What say you shouldn't have no other God? This here should never be your God.
Right.
You know what your God look like? God look like you, sis. Alright. So then what they teaching you? This could never be your God. This man here died on the cross. Which white man ever died for any black man or any black race?
Bring it up.
Think about it. They were the teaching in the Christian churches. We're talking about from the Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, Catholic, all races, Mormons, whatever you want to think. Make sure white image, Christianity and nothing. Or the white man theology of Catholic, which is the pinnacle of all Christianity, with all is a branch off from there, have nothing to do with us. So the first commandment, God says no do what? Worship who? Him, and him only by what? Keeping the commandments, right? Now let me get some commandments. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. What today is this? Saturday. Saturday is also known as the what? The Sabbath. So today now, what are you supposed to be doing? Keeping the Sabbath. Let me ask you a question. In the Catholic Church, have they ever taught you to keep the Sabbath? No, because they did what? They put you in what? Idolatry again.
Right.
You understand? Read.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Sis, if you notice something, we didn't really go on in the Bible to really break down anything. You know what it is? We in the beginning of the Bible, the second book, Exodus. Simple things that is supposed to be teaching. How long are you going to church now, sis? Since you have child come up, right? Why didn't teach you about the Sabbath day? Why didn't teach you about obeying God?
Right.
You know why? Because it's to keep our people work. Or keep the system going.
Right.
Because once we in sin, guess what? They could reign forever. When we come back to these laws and start to keep God's commandments, that is how we go and get we kingdom. That is how our people go and stop selling at the side of the roads. That is how our race of people would stop being gunned down at alarming in the streets. How much of we people died last year? How much? Read.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
What?
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
The 7 days known to be what day today is? Saturday, right? So you know what happened? They just changed the name of the days. Because God, when God created the days, you know he called it? He called the first day what? The first day. But today, they call it what? Saturday. Which is worshiping a what? The god Saturn. That's what they changed his name. Sunday is worshiping of the sun god rather. Egyptology coming and all these things. So they changed the name of the day. And they then tell you now, nobody don't know the day when God created, but God say, hey, the first day is what? Sunday, which they call today. And the last day will be eventually what? Saturday. Right? Which is the Lord's Sabbath. Because a lot of sisters here that pass, our brethren was handing out flyers, they say, they don't know, we can't prove it. We could prove it. Get a dictionary for us. Get a dictionary. The 7th day or Saturday. Read. Read it over. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Remember the Sabbath day. Why you say remember? If I tell you remember that we have to go down the road tomorrow, what am I telling you? Because you might. Correct. So God telling you, hey, remember why? Session on the outside, hey, come closer. We teaching about the Sabbath. Come close. Read.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Because guess what? When we was beaten and was put into slavery by this white man here, because this is what they come and taught us. This is how they captured the Native Americans. This is what we thought. They come and say, no. Why Jesus? We live in He died for us. Always all one people serve and obey your masters. And they bring this. You are peaceful people, we weren't like warlike people. Because the scriptures say what? Live peaceably with all men. But this man had war in his heart. He gave you this image, he gave you the cross, and he said, hey, God said to love all people, and Jesus is thing. And the next minute is chicken pox. Slaughter, that way they create Thanksgiving, that way they celebrate Thanksgiving. We're not supposed to be doing all these customs, sis.
That's right.
God never gave us these days. Read. The definition of Sabbath, right? Read.
Definition of Sabbath. The 7th day of the week, observed from Friday evening to Saturday evening.
So what?
To Saturday evening as a day of rest and worship by Jews and some Christians.
And what?
And by Jews and some Christians.
This is the Merriam-Webster dictionary here. The so-called white man, the scholars of the word, also lining up the precept to say what? Read Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8 to prove now, not that we need the proof from them because God gave us the knowledge. Read.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
What's it what?
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
So let me dive into the Sabbath now. How we going to keep the Sabbath day holy, sis? Working? Alright, well, you have to look to see if you get your day off, the Sabbath off. But let me finish it out. Let me see how we just keep the Sabbath day holy. Read.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
Oh.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant.
So that's how. You are here grass to cut on the Lord's Sabbath day. What you going to do? God say what? No work. So you're not supposed to be doing. Right. Anybody that come under your habitation or your house or your casa, not supposed to be doing work at the same time too.
Right.
You done?
Nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So
this is one form of keeping the Sabbath day. Let me get our next form, Exodus chapter 16. There we go. Because one way to keep the Sabbath is
difference Africans and Israelites.
We will get our parents. Come. Right now we're going over the Sabbath. Right? Said don't go, you're out there to learn. You know about the Sabbath? You know how to keep the Sabbath day holy, sis? Right, so this is what you need to learn. The first thing that we know is no working on the Lord's Sabbath, which is today. You know that? What religious background you would say you grew up in? Baptist. In the Baptist religion, you teach you to keep the Sabbath, sis? Right, well you will learn this today, sis. Because you need this is needful for our people don't know this. You don't know this. Let me go.
That's right. Exodus chapter 16 and verse 23. And he said unto them.
So try to sneak away, sis. Learn this.
Exodus chapter 16 and verse 23. And he said unto them, this that which is the Lord hath said, tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. bake that which you will bake today.
So if you say this is that which you said tomorrow, what date is then? If I say tomorrow, I'm speaking about what day? The day before. So if I say tomorrow, it will be the day before. So Moses gave the children of Israel instruction here. The day before the Sabbath day, what to do?
Bake that which you will bake today, and seat that which you will seat.
So bake, if you're baking bread, you're baking cakes, you're baking sweet bread, or baking chicken, whatever you want to bake pie, bake it the day before. Whatever you want to boil, if you're boiling rice, peas, dashing, conversion, whatever you want, you're boiling it the day before. We done.
And that which remaineth over, lay up for you to be kept until the morning.
So what you say? Which means you're baking ample for the 2 days. Correct. You understand that, sis? You have to focus on us. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. Alright, no problem. Let me show you something. Because this is what you have to teach your sis. This is what you have to learn. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. Keep therefore and do them. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep.
So, this is what we need to learn, and we oppressors today, which is Trinidad and Tobago, right? You know one thing we had to learn? What's one of the commandments we had to learn this? Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. Yeah, we finished the Sabbath. Come, sis, we will go back to the Sabbath. Come. But let me tell you something. Because right now we in here and our oppressors is come, sis. Come. You need to learn this. You need to learn this. We're out here for people. Listen this, right? You know Moses, right? He gave the children of Israel commandments, right? You know you are descendants of the slave trade? Alright. So the descendants of the slave trade was prophesied to go into slavery by Moses. So hear this now here. Deuteronomy 22.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5.
Listen this, sisters.
The woman,
this is a commandment that Moses gave the daughters of Sarah and the sons of Israel to do what? To keep, right? Let me see what harder this commandment read.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Read on.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
What are you talking about, sis? About pants? What are you talking about, sis? About... Come on here, this. Don't feel on my which is clothing, right? What are you talking about, sis? Yeah, we say. You want to hear it again? Let me hear this sister in here.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5.
Young sisters in the back, all you come close. We come here for all you too. Lay this.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
What are you talking about, sis? Pants, right? Alright. So what it's saying about the pants as the sisters? Sisters must not wear what? Sisters must not wear pants. So that law is a law that the Bible gave. The question is now, are you going to obey that law that the Lord gave? I know. You have to obey it. So sis, you're going to take off the pants. You're going to obey that law? You laugh, sis. This is not, you might be laughing, we might all laugh and think. But there's a serious commandment here. You know why? Zephaniah chapter 3 2 and verse 1. No, Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 8. Watch this. I want you to understand. Because we might laugh. You say, nah, God might kill me for wearing clothes. You think God might kill you for wearing clothes? Say, God know your heart. Nah, he ain't gonna kill you for wearing clothes. What is that good God? You know what you have in your mind, sis? This image. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Your father is a black man, right? How a black man is going when he come home from work and he ain't here do what the orders he give up. So imagine a black man now come from the skies with powers. What he can do you? He tell you here what to do. I tell you to take off the pants and you decide, no, I mean taking off no pants. God know my heart. God know your heart is wicked. Read.
Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse.
Yeah, this part, listen good.
Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice.
So in them I go and sacrifice an animal. What are you going to do, young sister? If I go and sacrifice an animal, sisters in the back, if I sacrifice an animal, what are you going to do with it? You're going to what? You go and kill it, right? So God saying, in the day of his sacrifice, the day when Christ come back to kill, read,
And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice
Listen.
that I will punish the
He go and punish what?
I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such are clothed in strange apparel.
With what?
All they that are clothed with strange apparel.
You know why? God using the word strange here. You know why, sis? Sis, before you go, don't go. Let me show you something. Why you say they will be clothed with strange apparel? Why you say you kill them for it? Because it's not for your gender. That's why he say in Deuteronomy, guess what? The pants is for who? And the skirts and the dresses is for. So you go and keep that commandment, sis. For God, I'm showing you that God will kill them, sis. So you know what to do? Start to wear it. Correct. So give me 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 9. I'm going to teach my young sisters. My brethren, come in the back here. Come closer, come closer. You could use a young brother and guess what? You had to choose a wife one day. So I had to teach you how to choose a wife. Come close, come close. Sisters, how you come? Read. 1 Timothy. Let me get it. Because you understand the law, right? So God will what? Kill you for what? Which is one of the laws. But we now went over. The sister alone her mouth or what's going on here? Don't be shy, be bold. We need to frighten all them. So God will kill them because in cross-dressing. So you see how everybody in the world wearing, you see how the women wearing pants and stuff right now? God don't like that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying, brethren? When you're going to choose a wife, you're going to choose a wife according to what? The first thing, you don't know she mind. But what she have one is a reflection of what she mind. For example, how you going to know a police officer? By you what? But you can't, if you're watching just so you can say he's a police, no, you don't know that. You understand? Because you could take a police cut and then people could take you for a police. No. By your attire is what it also tell what is inside here. If it's just like a vagrant here, then you're going to know, hey, this man is a vagrant. You understand? So when you're going to choose a woman, don't choose a woman according to your own mind or heart. Because you might see that woman and that thing and you might say, yeah, she looking nice. But that's a reflection. She dressed like a hoe. That is the reality. And God will deal with that. God see our sisters and our daughters must just what? Mother. We really know, bro. I mean, it might sound comedic, but it's serious, bro. We serious here. When you're choosing a wife, bro, choose because what? Read. This is why you're choosing a wife here. Read.
1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
But what is modest apparel, sis? What is modest apparel?
How you dress.
How you dress, meaning? Attire, how? Come on, you rabbit.
For example, it's fully clothed and not in a skirt or anything.
Okay, so when it's modest, it simply means not revealing sexual attention. That is what it's basically going into. Right? So my brethren, what you learned so far as you here stand up, before you go? About? And I hear you nothing, you gotta speak up. A good attire, right?
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, His word